What's going on, everybody? I wanted to give a little intro to the video that's coming out. A few people know, but not a lot of people knew that I sold this car, my 31 Model A. That was my grandpa's. I sold it to Merlin Johnson. It's probably been 4 months ago, 5 months ago. He paid me for it. It's his car. He owns title. Well, today's the day. He showed up with his buddy Jimmy and Jimmy's dad, and they're off getting some parts right now, so I just wanted to take a few minutes and give a little rundown on the situation. This car's been in my family since early 60s. My grandpa, he wasn't into hot rods or anything like that, so this is probably the first car I was ever around that somebody that was a collector. My whole life I rode in this car and everything, and after my grandpa passed, I was a caretaker of it. But I just don't use it. The longer I keep it, the worse shape it's in. So it's hard to go out here and drive this car and enjoy it the way the people around here drive and where we live. So Merlin is going to embark on a 2,400 mile trip back to where he lives, is Lake Havasu. And him and his wife are going to take a little journey. We're going to follow him for a little bit of that journey, see him off. And the car's going to get enjoyed like it should. He's going to do what he wants with it, and he's offered to sell it back to me. So who knows, someday maybe it'll come back. I've never been out west, and that might be a good chance. I used the money from selling the car to build my C50, which we plan on using as a promotional vehicle for our YouTube channel, Peace and Grease, just to go around and show what we do, sell things off the flatbed, build trucks for the common folk, and got a few other projects to finish up, but this summer's been good. Doing the trucking thing is hopefully going to pay off, and we need more support. And everybody that supports us, we love that. That's great. I'm glad you watch. It feels really good for somebody to watch me build something. I kind of always took for granted that I could just do things, and I never thought anyone would want to watch. And that's neat that people do. So we'll continue to build stuff, watching the traffic out there. High traffic flow today. So they should be back soon with us, fuel filter, some parts, and they're going to make this thing run here a little bit. Then he's going to get it ready over the next day or two, and Sunday morning he's heading for Indianapolis to pick his wife up. So just want to give everybody a little rundown on what's been happening. It's kind of why we started a YouTube channel. I've been talking to him for months. He kind of inspired me just to go for it. You don't have nothing to lose. And I always watched him on Welder Up, and I watch all of his YouTube content, and it's great. So it's unbelievable that he's in my garage working on something. That feels really cool too. You know, it's kind of surreal, but they'll be back. I'm just kind of hanging out, keeping the place ready, and watching him do his thing. He's already got it turning over and everything, so it'll be running quick. And he says we're going to hand start it. That's about it. I ain't got a whole lot to say about that. So hope you all enjoy watching what we do, and if you do, subscribe. You know, if you like Merlin's content, go check him out. And we're going to be going to Corey Wheat Customs house Sunday evening. We're going to take C50 Cummins, follow Merlin, pug long. Should be a good time. We'll film as much as we can. So have a good day. Stay smoggy.
When's the last time it run?
So what year is it? 23? I had it running probably 21, 20.
So, COVID times it was running. It didn't die of COVID, but anyway, I'm gonna get this thing running with Tim's help. Let's look at this right now. So the deal is, when I get this running, I've got like 2 days to kind of go through it and lube it up and get it ready. And then I picked my wife Desiree up in Indianapolis. Here we go. Let's get a look at this car.
Drum
See
roll.
what we got going.
Oh, they in there. Wait, this is it?
Wow, look at this thing.
This is the 31 Model A. Original condition.
I love a little touch here.
Yeah, right.
That's so cool. Yeah.
Check it out. Barn fresh.
She's prettier in person.
It's a beautiful car, really. It's
an
solid.
old restoration, you know. It's like I told you.
You know what? That's
It's
the best kind.
It's
You need
perfect.
a solid old car.
Yeah.
So this right here is the only. That's that, and what happened when the fan came out right there. Is really,
Oh yeah, the little dent in the hood. Yeah, you told me about all that.
That car set in this.
Wow.
That car set facing in here, and there's a heat duct over there. He ran heat in here from their house, and the car sat in here. But you know, last 10 years of his life, he wasn't. doing
So-
it with it.
So tell me about your grandpa. So when did he purchase this car? When do you think?
So they came down here in, I think, '64. My dad, I'm surprised he hasn't been around.
So where did your grandpa come from?
Well, they lived in this little town called Drexel, Ohio. It's
Okay.
West of Dayton. It was a small town. He worked at Wright Pat, and then he didn't like living there, so they made the move down here.
So what did he do for Wright Patterson?
He was a maintenance man, electrician.
Okay.
So he was like at Pearl Harbor after, like he wasn't there during, but he was there after.
He was brought in to help.
Skilled trades.
Okay.
And then I got a plaque over in the garage from like 54 to 82. He worked at Wright Pat. And my grandma was this little old school teacher. So like Wright Pat had a gun club, trap shooting. And the ultimate dream was to have his own. So that's what this start out was. But he had a trap shooting Drexel, but they moved down here. And my little grandma, she was a character in herself. And he made her steer this, and they pulled it down here with a rope.
That's awesome. So your grandma was steering this, and he was pulling it in with a
I
rope.
think she was sitting on an old crate or something, you know.
That's so.
I know the car was maroon, I think, at one time, in black.
Okay.
And whenever he would have somebody do it, you know, he would, you know, as stock as possible.
Right.
You know.
Keeping it all original.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember you talking about the engine was rebuilt when you were pretty young back in the 90s.
Yeah, my dad says he had it rebuilt for him. There's a local guy that was the go-to guy. You know, he was the local Model A guy. So
That's super cool. So your grandpa fought in World War II.
yeah, both of them. But Grandpa Miller, who lived here, yeah, he was in World War II. We got pictures of him, and of course he didn't look like that when I knew him. But yeah, big story on that and everything. So he kind of lived the American dream. This is where he ended up with his little campground, and this was always, I guess I was thinking the other day, this would have been my first aftermarket car growing up. That you know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
Because I was born in '79 and he had it since.
So did he ever let you drive it?
Not when he was alive, but
Right after he died, he drove.
he came from Kentucky. Where he was a bad driver, so it was scary to
It's
go.
He
true.
was a bad driver.
Yeah.
I like that.
So I was 17 or 18, and he passed away, and there was a feed mill, and they sold regular gas. Okay, so that's where you always had to go get the gas for the tractor or the car. You know?
Right.
So I was going to drive it to his funeral, and the battery shorted out back then underneath,
Yep.
and it broke down, and we pulled it back, and there was a lot going on that day, so it didn't make the trip. But I became the unofficial caretaker after he died. I was 17, and she lived until 2014. You know, I can't do math that quick on camera, but I was the caretaker. I'd get it out and drive
Yeah.
it. And so after the fan blade broke, it took out the radiator and the fan. And there's another local guy down here. If we get in a bond and you need something, you know, but he had parts.
Okay.
And the car sat in here from probably, I bet 2010. And then I started seeing, my grandma lived to be 92.
Wow.
So I knew that
That's
she wasn't
awesome.
gonna live forever. So the car had sit. So I got I got another radiator from that guy, and I changed the water pump, and put the blade on it. You know, that for me working on that back then, it was intimidating. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because I didn't want to mess anything up. But I was able to get it back together and take her for, we drove it around here, the campground and stuff, and it was emotional for her. It was great for me, you know, to see her face light up, because my grandpa, he'd been dead for probably 18 years, you know, so. I love Model A's, but you see if you pull, you know.
Yeah.
It's suicide.
Like
It's
when
hard to step out on that road right there. Cars whizzing by 60
no one's
miles
paying
an hour.
attention, man.
Yeah.
And before you clear the hill, they're on you, you know, and it's a scary thing. But like how you said where you live, putt community, golf cart
Yeah.
community and stuff
Well,
like that.
it's the top speed limit in our town's 35 miles an hour, so they're pretty fun as daily drivers down
Yeah.
there. Plus,
I
our
mean-
weather's so nice. When you guys are snowed in here, yeah, we're good.
Yeah. So it's the old, you know, it's the old double clutch and all that, everything. So
Straight cut gears,
Uh,
looks pretty complete, looks pretty original.
yeah.
I love it.
Like I said, I went to Rural King and got a battery, and I really did. I just to see if it'd fire up, because it would always fire right up. But that day the battery went dead. But
Yeah, pretty good condition, even with front license plate holder.
yeah, these are these little markers. I don't know. You could flip it up, like some local patent them or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty jazzed about this. This is pretty neat.
My grandpa, he was a different old character. Like, he even had a patent. Like,
Really?
Yeah, he had hurt his shoulder, he fell, and he had this leather guy make this harness, and it went on you. And he had this pole that swiveled, and you put your Winchester Model 12 in there, and I was probably like 15, and we had been practicing. He didn't want to do it, because he was still hurt, but he went through the whole thing, having it made and applying for the patent, and it took,
Yeah, it's
my
an
aunt
ordeal.
still has that, and then like, it was the big display one day. Timmy's gonna show the patent, so I had the thing on. And I broke like 7 out of 10, and that
Nice.
was it. So he was an interesting old man, but he hated hot rods. You know what I mean? If you hot
Yeah,
rod,
so
he's gonna come
if
at
If
you.
I cut this
Yeah.
up, it's gonna be the first. It'll be the
It'll
well.
be hot.
Honestly,
He wanted to chop it.
I hate cutting them.
I have to sell it before I chop the top. Now, so what I want to do, I always dreamed of having this car, like open your big shop and having a stock one, and then what I
Yeah.
would build. That's
Yeah,
you know.
sure.
So if I ever wanted it back, that would be the only reason, is because
Yeah.
I got insta rich somehow, and I just wanted a stock old car. But
Right?
That's actually an original piece of glass.
I've been in. I think they've.
That's original glass right there, because that's Henry Ford.
It's a nice
I
car.
think
It
you're gonna
really
find
is.
a lot of it. You know.
Pretty original.
Yeah, I didn't.
That's-
What do you
that's
call
good.
those ones? What do you call the cloth seats? I hate those.
Mohair.
Yeah,
Mohair.
edgy.
So,
I always like these.
Somebody made that comment. I told one of my friends that I was getting this Model A, and they're like, "And you're gonna drive back in the summer with mohair interior?" I'm like, "No, it's got vinyl."
Yeah, hell, back windows roll down and everything. man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
I was
And then-
watching. I was watching one show, and the guy said, "Oh, Mortsky." He said, "Puddin' and Mortsky got one," and they said, "How would you start these in the winter?" And then he said they would actually drain their oil.
Put on stove.
And
Yeah.
put it back
Pour it
in,
back in.
and then crank. I've never had. There's a crank in there, but I've never seen anybody crank this car.
Oh,
You know,
use
Well,
watch.
we're gonna crank it
We're
today.
gonna
I'm gonna have you crank it today.
Yeah.
let's do it.
Yeah. So
That-
what,
that-
what was your grandpa's name?
Merle,
Merle.
Oh,
Merle,
no
and
way.
Lunette.
No,
My,
that's
gra-
right. That's
my
right.
grandma was
Merle
about
and
that
Lunette.
tall, and her name was Lunette,
That's awesome.
and they was feisty, man. You know what I mean?
Merle Miller.
They met on a
Yeah.
Greyhound bus. He was in his army fatigues with his bag, and they met on this bus, and he told her, "If you want to get married, come back here next week." And they met back up.
Really?
And
Yep.
they was
Wow.
married.
What a
They
story.
was married. My dad has 3 sisters that are older than him, and he's 69. They're all still alive. Everyone, you know, so they had a great life. My grandma lived right here till she was 92. She had she just, I think she probably died from a blood clot after an accident that she
Okay.
recovered from. But she was a nice old lady. She had a Ford Taurus, and like it blew up once, and she's like 85, and she's like, I'm going to die soon. I don't want another car. And we were like, no. So she went and got her another Ford Taurus and drove that all the
Almost
way.
10 years later.
Yeah, that's
still
all right.
driving
Yeah,
that.
so she
She
yeah.
wore out another Ford.
Yeah.
Well, you know, honestly, people from that World War II era, they were just super tough. I mean, you know, my grandpa was 16 years old, and when Pearl Harbor got bombed, he hitchhiked to San Diego, lied about his age, and headed for the South Pacific.
What'd you tell me
Wow.
one day on Facebook? You said hard times make tough men.
Yeah,
Yeah. Or tough times make hard. How's it go? Either
yeah,
way.
something like that.
So I have a lot of sentimental value to it, but I'm realistic, and this is going to be the greatest thing that ever happens to this car. He might be riding in there in the back seat with you.
Smiling ear to ear.
Well,
yeah.
so when I buy things and I do things, when I was a little kid, I always wanted this kind of stuff. It was my dream to have something like this when I was a kid. And I would go and I would try to buy the stuff, and I never could make a deal.
Yeah.
I either didn't have enough money, or I just, I couldn't get people to sell their cars to me. And as I got older, I kind of got to where I just don't really care about the cars. Like, I'll see cars, and I'll be like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
But then I see cars and they like talk to me. And when you posted this thing
Yeah.
on your personal Facebook, it wasn't on Marketplace.
Yeah.
It was a little post about thinking, I don't even remember what it said, thinking about selling it or something
Yeah.
like that. And I looked at that car and I was like, that's the car. I knew right there that was the car, not even knowing the story or anything. So as I hear about the story, because I told you right off what I wanted to do with it. I was like,
It's been hard for me to keep it. It's been going on for about 4 months.
Yeah, I've wanted since I was a little kid to drive across this country like it's 1930.
Yeah.
And somehow my wife has like got excited about it.
I love that.
She's like
Right.
she's like ready to go. Like, she went and had her nails done for the first time in I don't know how many years.
Did you get them
And
apple green?
she actually got them. She got them this like little maroon color. But anyway, she bought herself an outfit, and she's gonna fly on the airplane in this outfit. She looks like she's straight out of 1931.
Yeah.
Oh my
I
gosh,
said, they're
I
gonna
love
think you're
it.
a Hooterite or Amish. Or, I said, "You
It'll
look
It'll
like
be
a damn
normal in
twig."
Ohio.
Yeah.
I've been around cars all my life, man. Since I was little, my cruise-ins, Hot Rod magazine, and everybody says Bonnie and Clyde. Like, no, it's not Bonnie and Clyde cars.
So
Clyde liked V8s.
we're kind of doing the Bonnie Clyde. So I want to go to a store and I want to get mason jars and fill them up with water and put them on the back seat and listen to them rattle.
I've got a box of mason jars
Perfect.
right here.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah.
You aren't selling this to Whistle and Diesel, are you?
No.
Oh, right.
Well, here's another thing that's always kind of, come to the surface of what's going on with, where cars are today. This car is almost 100 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, in 100 years, do you think anybody is going to go somewhere, buy somebody's family heirloom, and try to make it run and drive it across the country
No.
in original form?
Yeah.
It's like I can fix this thing with literally the tools in my pocket. I think I
Yeah.
got a knife,
Yeah.
a pair of pliers, and a crescent wrench.
Yeah.
And we're going to make this thing run all the way back to Lake Havasu City, Arizona. But one thing I'm going to do, and this is a bonus deal, I'm going to do Pikes Peak on the way back.
Heck yeah.
I've always wanted to go to the top of Pikes Peak, so I'm going to do it in your Grandpa
I
Merle's
love
car.
that. Here it comes.
Oh, no brakes!
Would you look at that?
Brakes actually work good.
Yeah.
Say they work very well.
I mean, it's a solid old driver.
Yeah, it is.
It was. I would drive it around.
You look perfect in there.
You know what?
Look at him.
It's only 2,500 miles. What did you say? I'm going to put
That's,
more miles on it in this single
yeah.
trip
It's true.
than your grandpa put on it since he owned it, or
And
since
me,
the motor was
between my
done?
grandpa, me, and my dad, you'll have more miles on it than we ever did. I bet we would put 5 gallons of gas in it, put it for a while, and then it would go back in the barn. And that's where it sat.
So awesome.
This is purdy. I'm more excited for you now, buddy. Yeah, it is.
How's that fit? She said, she woke up this morning and said, "Are you nervous?" So I said, "Well, be nice to meet them." I said, "They're probably more nervous than I am, not knowing what you're going to open the door to."
We slept so good last night, we didn't care.
There's stuff the horn works, but I got a couple horns up at my house. I hate to send you off without a Uga.
Oh, we can fix that.
Those
Yeah,
are fixable.
that's easy. Yeah, I can't believe it still has the splash aprons in it.
It's still got the heater manifold on it.
The splash
Put it next to
apron.
his.
You don't even have those out there, do you? The heater?
Yeah, no, that's.
We don't use heaters.
Well,
I
We don't need a heater.
I wish
So
I
have
did
you ever
have to.
imagined of living a place Seriously, have
No,
you
we have a
ever
furnace.
imagined of
No.
living a place where you didn't need a heater?
I need
Like,
a heater.
think about that.
In Ohio,
It
it's awful.
never gets cold enough in Lake Havasu to need a heater.
Look, this will be random.
There
This is how
may
it
be a
goes.
day. This guy looking for a place to
It's
stay.
hard to say.
So
You could
there
use
may
your-
be a day where you wish you had a heater because it got down to like 30,
Oh yeah.
but you don't need a heater.
You
So
never know what's gonna happen.
I don't know what
around
we're
here.
gonna do with that heater, but we'll probably end up taking that off the
Take
car.
it out because you don't need it.
'Cause
I'm
I don't-
jealous that you don't.
I don't
need
want
it.
to come back to Ohio. Hey, that's a nice shirt you're
I
wearing
want
there.
you to come back to Ohio.
Not with the car.
Not with the
Oh,
car.
yeah, yeah,
Not with
exactly,
the car, but I
exactly.
want you back.
If the car comes back to Ohio, it's coming back to go back in this garage.
That's right.
Yeah.
Straight up. But
And we want to be there coming to get
pretty,
it.
There you go,
That's
right?
the idea.
That's right. Hey, I wouldn't want to be driving at 2,400 miles, but Merlin on this
I'm
is
excited for
he's
him.
tougher than me about that.
I'm excited for him. I feel like it suits him so well.
On there right away.
Jim,
Tim,
nice to meet you, Tim.
what's you guys?
Tim
Merlin.
Tim, how are
doing,
you?
buddy? Good
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
You too.
62, 63 years it's been in the family.
63 years. You've drove the car, right?
Yeah.
That's
Well,
right. The fan came off and went through the radiator on you.
Those pictures of there with him, teenager, his whole baseball team on it.
Wow.
Dad would give us the incentive. He'd drive this to every little league ball game I ever went to down here in Waynesville.
Really?
And yeah, and if we won, he would load us all in the Model A and on the running boards, and we'd drive across the highway right to the ice cream store.
Nice.
And he would buy us all a small ice cream cone.
That is super
if we
cool.
won, and even if we didn't, he'd buy us a small.
There's a
But
picture of him
yeah,
with
there's a
long
couple
shaggy
pictures.
hair playing a banjo on the fender.
Like
The
the same
kind
way.
of car karma that comes with a car
Yeah.
that people don't get to see and realize, but it's there. Trust
Part
me,
of the
it's
old
there.
car adventure.
It is,
I remember it
100%.
all, you know.
100%.
He had the tradition of every Labor Day, he'd make me and my three sisters work on that car. Every Labor Day.
I like that.
We'd
I
do
like that.
We'd push it out of the garage and we'd push it down the driveway and get it started.
He said one
Hope it-
time he would fill
hope it
out the
fired.
order forms my aunt for J.C. Whitney.
Yeah.
He'd need something
To get parts.
and wait 6 months, 6 weeks.
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Here's the problem with a 12 volt in a Model A.
Can't Craig start it.
No, it spins so much faster, it ends up eating the flywheel. A lot of people don't realize that. It's actually, I mean, if you're just going to drive it once a year, you probably never heard it. But me, I plan on driving it a lot. So every time you hit that starter and it hits that flywheel real hard, it starts taking the teeth off. And people don't realize that. It ruins them. Painted them, and now all of a sudden it's like, so if you look at this thing's painted so good that it doesn't make any connection here.
This is where an old dog like me learns a new trick. You buy something from the parts store and you think you're good to go.
Right.
You're not.
And this thing was good for 100 years while your grandpa was alive. And then some
What kind of connection
kid
did they have on them originally?
said, let's paint one red and one black. They'll be so much better.
Who do you think's rebuilding carburetors these days? 12-year-old kids?
Yeah, right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like when you go to AutoZone, you get a rebuilt carburetor. Who actually rebuilt
You say
that?
carburetor to a 12-year-old kid today, and they're like, what is that? The adjustment on my vape? Do you know why these cars are positive ground?
I never really understood that.
So, Henry Ford worked for Thomas Edison.
Yeah.
He was DC guy.
Yeah, I know Tesla. And,
With all the DC, there was corrosion.
yeah.
The idea of positive ground is the corrosion follows the positive lead. It goes into the chassis or the body of the frame rather than the wiring.
Yeah.
That's why they were positive ground. A lot of people don't know that, but
Merlin's getting ready to drive it to Lake Havasu. How
Arizona.
long is it going to take you? Week or how long you planning?
I'm not really planning.
As long as it takes.
I would love
Door
to be
handle.
in. I would love to be in.
The goal is to get there, right?
The goal is to get there. That's the goal.
That's right.
All we got to do is get there.
Safe journeys.
Thank you.
Classy ride, no doubt about it. Very nice.
A week, a month, whatever it takes. Well, this is the first time I've drove the car. It's pretty good.